Stop. Don't buy that picks package or All Access. Wait, what? Yep, don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and Sportsmemo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or Sportsmemo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.
Happy Tuesday, guys. Carmine Bianco from WagerTalk.com coming to you from Punta Cana, Dominican Republic. It's in the Dominican Republic. I let Kevin Dolan know. He was curious about that earlier, but it's our second to last stoppage time show as the European season's coming to an end. The tournament's coming to an end, with the final one being Champions League on the 28th with Real Madrid and Liverpool. Really looking forward to that final and my futures bets. But we've got 4 EPL games to discuss today. And with us, of course, from Sportsmemo's Pavlos Laguretos, and from WagerTalk.com, Nick Borrman and Kevin Dolan. Kev, I'm going to bring you in first. This is a football show, but my God, man, you made an absolutely fantastic call on the Canelo fight. How are things?
Yeah, to be honest, now I'm still feeling the residual effects of that. I'm very happy because obviously, look, I did the preview over on WagerTalk today for the fight last week. Did the whole breakdown, and I knew myself as soon as the words left my mouth and picking Bivol, picking against Canelo, the comments were going to explode. I went back and read them. This guy, what the hell you doing? I actually got a private message on Twitter as well for one of my boxing subscribing clients, and they said the same thing. You've lost it, man. You may put down the whiskey, but look, as I told everyone, Dimitri Bivol, serious gamer, and when you reach 175, Canelo ain't the only gunslinger in town. So, fantastic result there. And in soccer as well, we're red hot right now, 43-25 in soccer, and actually across all sports, 34-18 all sports run right now as well. So, looking to keep that going, keep that hot streak going into this week as well.
Awesome. Keep it going. And you guys saw at the top of the show, WagerTalk has that deals section. So before you buy one of the packages, go there and you can come up with some very good deals there and take advantage of Kevin's hot run. Nick Borrman, what's going on?
Kevin, I didn't want to say this, but all those comments were from my burner account. So sorry about that, but I felt like we were more trolling online. Things are good. Last week, for lack of a better way to put it, sucked. I couldn't hit any of the Champions Europa plays. I was on the wrong side of everything, but came back over the weekend, had a profitable Saturday, Sunday, and capped it off yesterday for a third straight winning day Monday with the under in the Fiorentina-Roma game, which was 2 goals after 11 minutes. And I said that was a dead loser. And somehow I turned it off and it ended up winning. So that was great. Looking forward to getting into these last couple of weeks. And, of course, MLS all through the summer. It's a shame, really is, that the World Cup's not during this summer, instead, packed into that fall schedule, because that would be awesome to go through this summer. But it is what it is. We'll continue with MLS all through the summer. But looking forward to the last 2 weeks. A lot of stuff to figure out still in these leagues.
Yeah, it's going to be a crazy last couple of weeks because obviously the race for top 4 spots, the race for the title in EPL, pretty much the Bundesliga is the only one where it's pretty much done. But the race in Serie A as well too is going on. Obviously La Liga with Real Madrid is done, and we saw that they're pretty much on course just to get their players ready for the Champions League final. They sat a good portion of their starting squad in the Madrid derby, which you would never normally see. Pavlos, my man, you called Everton last weekend. You told us they are going to go to Leicester and they are going to come away with the 3 points. And how did that go for you?
No, it was my big bet of the week, 10-unit bet. I mean, Leicester, we saw it last year. We saw it the year before. Known chokers at the end of the season. And now, as I said, guys, earlier, they're closer to the relegation zone, and they can mathematically get relegated actually than they are of getting a European ticket. Actually, the European tickets are out of grasp. So, this Leicester side, also they're coming off a very demanding match in the Conference League, semi-final against Roma. So it all pointed towards Leicester, pooping the bed, and they did. So yeah, really great weekend. I'm now up 23 units in May alone. I won pretty much all my big bets over the weekend. A 5-unit bet, a 10-unit bet, and all my 4-unit bets. The other small ones didn't do any good, but still plus 23 units. I have a 5-unit La Liga play of the week loaded at my page. 5-1 in this La Liga plays, and 11-4 run in all La Liga plays. So it's looking great. Looking forward to finishing the season on a very, very strong note.
Awesome. That's what I love to hear, Pavlos. Keep it going. Personally, myself, going through the weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it was one of those ones where Friday, perfect day, go 4-0. Saturday, I zigged. My games zagged, and I think it was like a 3-7, and then back onto the winning run on Sunday with a 4-1-1 type of day. So let's just see if we can keep everything motoring along, guys. 4 EPL games we're going to look at today. One that goes today, Liverpool and Aston Villa. Then we'll do a couple for tomorrow, Leeds and Chelsea, Everton and Watford. And then the Thursday, the North London Derby, the big one, Tottenham and Arsenal. And we'll break that one down as well. But let's start it off with Aston Villa and Liverpool. Let's look at the numbers on this one. Villa at home, plus 600. The draw is plus 350. Liverpool, minus 223. Kev, I'm going to go to you first, and then we're going to give Nick a chance to rebut on this one. Listen, disappointing, obviously, for Liverpool getting that draw with Tottenham. Klopp wasn't happy. He thought that a quality side like Tottenham and Conte would have played a much more open game instead of a defensive game that they did. But I think if they had done that, Liverpool probably would have opened them up. So he's not happy with the draw, puts him 3 points back of Man City in the title race. And now after a big City win, the goal differential comes into it as well, too. What happens on Tuesday?
Yeah, well, I wrote a piece for this game over on the WagerTalk news site already, actually. And, there's bound to be some mixed emotions for Liverpool ahead of this game. As you said, Klopp was annoyed. He's already stated as well he can't see Manchester, City slipping up at this point, perhaps mind games there. But I honestly think he's talking the truth, because neither can I, quite frankly. And, let's face it, as you mentioned with the goal difference, even if they did, it's not looking good with that -4 number there. Maybe Wolves continue as Pep's bogey team. We know they've presented problems to Manchester City in the past. Maybe they take a shock win, but it's just the fact for me, Liverpool with that 3 points off City right now in the title race, that goal difference as well, and that was an advantage for Liverpool just a couple of weeks ago, which has been reversed by City now. So while Klopp obviously has to win this game, just in case City do come up short at some stage between now and the end of the season, with that FA Cup final coming up at the weekend, with that Champions League final against Real Madrid on deck as well in 2 weeks, he's already bagged the League Cup earlier in the season. So, does Klopp take his foot off the gas here a little, perhaps look to focus on, winning these trophies that he can still control? I actually believe the answer is yes. Even if City do slip up over the next 3 games, I can't see Liverpool clawing back a -4 goal differential with the way City are playing right now. City are averaging 4.25 goals per game right now over the last 3 starts. They're absolutely blitzing opponents. So, while I think Liverpool will win here tonight against Aston Villa, I'm just not sure they'll look to match City, in front of goals, look to run up the scoreboard in this one. Where they could make inroads on that goal difference, whoever's in their defence tonight. Liverpool have been absolutely fantastic on the road this year. They failed to lose a single game away from home over the entire calendar year of 2022 so far. And, even more impressive than that is the fact they've allowed just 0.44 goals per game to opponents away from home this year. That's by far the lowest in the league. So I think Liverpool, as I said, will win this game tonight. Villa coming off back-to-back victories, obviously. But look, Burnley and Norwich, you're not going to exactly sell the car looking to back Villa off those kind of wins. So, as I said, I think Liverpool will go on to win this game tonight, just to keep the pressure on City. I just don't see them running up the scoreboard here, not with such a crucial final coming up at the weekend. So, Liverpool to win to 0 plus 150, that looks like a decent price to me. Both teams to score no, also at minus 105. I think Liverpool could potentially shut Villa out here tonight. But for the purpose of this selection, I'm going to keep to what I said in the Wager Talk news article. And that's look to back the under 3 goals tonight, as I think Liverpool snatch, a low-scoring victory in this one against Villa.
Yeah, that 2-0, I think that 2-0 was at plus 700, and that seems like a pretty good price for this one. Nick, Kevin makes some good points, and you look at the Liverpool, and in 2022, I think they're 11-0-3, unbeaten in 14 away from home, playing extremely well. And Villa's in that mid-table spot where you see during the end of a season, you're too far away from those European spots. And you're in the safety zone, so you're just literally playing out the season. I think dropping those 2 points, obviously, in that Tottenham game hurts them, because you look at City, and you could make a case that they could possibly drop a couple points either in one of the next couple games at Wolves and at West Ham, who played extremely well last weekend. But at 3 points, getting a City loss at this point, I don't think is going to happen. They'll finish the season off, City that is, at home against this same Aston Villa side. And if that title race is still in jeopardy at that point, you think maybe Steven Gerrard does his former Liverpool side favor and inspires his team to a victory, but I don't see it happening. Nick, tell me where you're going here.
I'm glad I'm going after Kevin, because I'm gonna go the opposite here. I think the over is the play I like here, and I think it's too early. I think Klopp's too proud to throw in the towel on getting historic quadruple. I don't think they're just going to roll over here, and I don't think Kevin was suggesting that either. But I think they are going to try to push for the win. Now, what I do agree with is that yes, they have an FA Cup final. Yes, they have a Champions League final. So perhaps the squad, which we will know soon, is rotated to some degree. But that doesn't change the message, I think, to the players that are going out there, which is win and try to push to win, I think, as big as possible. Because as you mentioned, that goal differential, which they trail by 4, yes, it will be hard to catch City on that. Yes, they have to rely on City losing a game, but I don't think they're ready to just, say it's not going to happen. City play, you mentioned it, Aston Villa that last game, but they also have Wolves and West Ham both battling, fighting for European spots themselves. So they're going to be tough games. You'd think City will pull through all the way through there, but you never know. City have been known to crack under pressure and lose some meaningless. Well, I don't want to say meaningless, but games against some weaker competition. So I think Liverpool will push here. At the same token, if they are a little rotated, or if they are pushing a little bit more for some goals, that might leave them susceptible to Aston Villa on the the counter, or just making mistakes. So I would not be surprised to see Aston Villa get on the board here, which makes that over all that much more likely. Liverpool right now on the side, -1.25, seems decent, but I'm nervous of maybe a 2-1 type of result, which obviously pushes in the total. But I think Liverpool is going to try and score goals here. It just maybe it's a different squad out there, which I think only helps, because then those guys would love to get some minutes and really showcase what they can do. So I like the over here. I think worst case it's going to land on 3, but I think we're going to see Liverpool push. Klopp is too proud. He wants. Everybody's rooting for this team to pull off the quadruple. Even Pep said it yesterday that everybody's rooting against City. So I think they're going to feed on that momentum, and they're going to keep trying.
All right, Nick Borrman, WagerTalk.com. And guys, I tend to agree with you. When I look at the game, I agree with Nick in the sense of I don't think Klopp's ready to give it up. But the next 6 or 7 days after this game will probably tell the tale. You look at City. City plays on the 11th and 15th. Those 2 games against Wolves and against West Ham, both on the road. And that is before Liverpool play their next league game, which won't be until the 17th, when they're away to Southampton. So a couple wins by City. And I think at that point, Klopp packs it in and starts planning obviously starts planning for the Champions League, and we probably see a rotated squad against when they play away to Southampton before finishing off their EPL season on the 22nd. Guys, before we head over to the second game, it is $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and Sportsmemo. $2 Tuesdays is where you can get a featured cappers plays for only $2. These are plays that normally sell for $25 and $35. And inside the play in the analysis section, there are some very good long-term deals as well too. Over at Wager Talk, it is Andrew McInnes, my co-host on Puck Time, which comes at the top of the hour, 11 a.m. Tune into that one. He has an MLB play up for tonight. Andrew's 29-11 with 5% plays. He is on an absolute roll. And then over at Sports Memo, it's the regular deal. 3 cappers, $2 each. You get all 3 for $5. John Ryan, R&R Sports, and Don Buster will be on Puck Time today as well too. John Ryan has NBA. R&R has a WNBA play, and Don Buster has a play in tonight's NHL action. So you can get those over at Sports Memo. 3 guys for $5 or $2 separately. All right, guys, second game on today's card. Let's put it up on the screen. This is Chelsea and Leeds. The odds on this one, Leeds plus 400 at home. The draw is plus 300. Minus 163 on Chelsea away. Pavlos, I'm going to go to you first on this one. A colossal collapse by Chelsea on the weekend. Didn't make any of us happy whatsoever. They're holding on to third spot. They better watch it because you've got Arsenal and Tottenham, who we'll discuss in the North London Derby as our final game today. Hot on their heels. I think Arsenal's 8 point back. Tottenham, with a win today, will go 2 points back. I don't think they can afford to drop any more points. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, they can't drop any more points. And to be honest, I looked at the odds in this Chelsea versus Wolves match over the weekend. I also told you guys that it's weird to have like plus 850 was it on Wolves. But anyway, Chelsea are screwing up now after their elimination from the Champions League. They've been kind of struggling. They only beat West Ham, but they didn't have the easiest of schedules. They had a draw against Manchester United. They lost to Everton, of course, where Everton were in need of points. But now that those 2 late goals against Wolves was really, really bad. But I still think they're going to finish inside the top 4, quite possibly third. And now they're up against a Leeds side that's just terrible season for Leeds. I mean, very, very bad defense, 74 conceded goals. And now they're coming into this match without Ayling, who's suspended. Stuart Dallas is out. Cooper is questionable. So I don't know who's going to play at that defense, who was already pretty bad. So I think Chelsea, they can terrorize this Leeds defense. I mean, Leeds... they can still save themselves, and this is a match where they could get on the board. But looking at their recent matches, they didn't really do that much lately. Scoreless against Crystal Palace, of course, against Manchester City, but that was expected. They scored a late goal against Arsenal the other day. Maybe Leeds can get on the board here somehow. Maybe they can play spoiler to Chelsea. But Chelsea, if they're gonna, if they wanna find some stability at the end of the season, and maybe they should win this one, and find some relaxation moments before their other matches coming up over the weekend. So I believe that this is a match where Chelsea were going to score at least twice. I'm not sure if they're going to win. Possibly they're going to win, but at around the same price, I'd rather take Chelsea over 1.5 team totals.
All right, that's Pavlos Laguretos of Sports Memo. Nick, you look at this game, and obviously Leeds put themselves in a hole, falling behind 2-0 to the Gunners, and then Ayling taking a tripping call, which turned into yellow into a red there, and obviously put them behind the 8 ball in that game. They showed a bit of life coming back, but I don't think they were ever really in it. I like Pavlos's take on some goals in this one. You look at Leeds, and I think only Norwich has allowed more goals at 75, but Leeds is right there at 74. Give me your thoughts.
I will once again try to argue the other way here. Chelsea, obviously, I feel for you, Carm. You got a nice future on them, but they just can't seem to get out of their own way. I feel like they should have earned their Champions League qualification, a month ago, but here we are, still fighting for it. You mentioned that blown lead against Wolves this past weekend. The one thing before that they have been doing still is playing good defense. They've held their opponents to 1 goal or less in their 3 previous games before that Wolves implosion. But offensively, they just have not been scoring as well. They've been held to 1 goal or fewer in each of those 3 games as well. Leeds, they need points in a bad way. They're in the middle of a very unfortunate stretch playing City, Arsenal, and now Chelsea in 3 straight matches. But before that, they losing to City, they had a 5-game unbeaten run, which was very, very solid for them, pulled them right out of the relegation zone, took advantage of an easy schedule. And then prior to that 5-game run, they had lost 6 straight games and were held scoreless in 5 of them, and they were playing some of the tougher teams. So it's been feast or famine, it seems like, for Leeds. But against the better teams out there, they've proven they can't score. And yes, their defense is not good, but at the same time, I think a point for them is huge. So I see them trying to play this thing out right from the beginning and scraping out. Maybe they'll get a 0-0, maybe it's a 1-1, but they want to draw here as much as they want to win, and they're going to fight for that. And honestly, even a point for Chelsea is big right now. So I think if it's tight down towards the end of the game, I don't think either team's necessarily going to really push for that goal, because I think a point helps both sides. So I think, the moral of the story here is Leeds score and win against, as Kevin puts it, the shite teams, but they can score against the better teams. And with a ton on the line for both teams, this seems like a good spot for the unders. I just think both defenses are going to be focused and try to get that point. So under 2 3/4 is how I actually like this one.
All right, Nick taking the contrarian play to Pavlos and I on seeing some goals in this one. We'll see how that turns out on next Tuesday's show when we discuss it. But let's get to the third game here, guys. This also goes on Wednesday. Watford and Everton. Watford plus 300 at home. The draws plus 260. Everton minus 110. Kev, I'm going to go to you first on this one. I look at the line and Watford's done. We know they're heading back down to the championship next season. And Everton looked pretty good last weekend, and yet this line just smells fishy. Give me your thoughts.
Well, I'm thinking if you were to go to Nick on this one and he was being contrarian, I just can't say it, because you need your head checking if you're picking Watford. I've said in this show before, I'm a big fan of Frank's. He's one of my favourite managers in the Premier League, personality-wise. I will say, however, I was slightly nervous back when he took over at Everton, just because he was inheriting, such a mess of a team, basically. Very talented team, no doubt, man for man. But, Benitez had them in absolute shambles. But I think he's done a fantastic job at the club. 2 straight wins now for Everton, 3 wins from the last 5 as well. Even the games they lost against Liverpool and West Ham, for instance, I thought they played, well in for the most part. So it does appear he's guided them to safety for this season. Don't want to speak too soon on that. But, they have a game in hand now over Burnley and Leeds, and that's absolutely massive at this stage of the season, with so few games left. And he uses that extra game advantage tomorrow night against the Watford team. Complete disarray right now. 11 straight. Watford are breaking all types of records in the Premier League, but it's not the type of records you want to be breaking, because, doing a bit of research for this game, 11 straight home defeats now for Watford in the league. I think you guys were actually eating Thanksgiving turkey the last time Watford won a game at Vicarage Road. It's been that long. I think it was against United too, so, what a surprise there. And that's the longest in Premier League history. Never been done before. Not only Premier League history, that goes all the way back to the old English Division 1 as well. So that shows you how bad that is. On top of that, they've conceded in 22 straight games now in the Premier League as well. That equals Burnley's record, going all the way back to 1973. I mean, Carmine, you probably had hair back then. That's so long ago. So, another goal conceded here, and they'll break that record as well. And finally, the last record is Watford are on course to break the Premier League goals against record at home as well. They're 4 goals shy of Swindon's 45 goals allowed at home back in the 1993-94 season. And I mean, 4 goals, you wouldn't write them off breaking that record here too. So in the form they're in right now, there's absolutely no way I want any part of Watford in this game, especially as well. If you guys seen the weekend with the way Roy Hodgson walked off against Crystal Palace at the weekend. His team gets officially demoted, relegated, and he goes off clapping and cheering with his former side. I mean, it's like something out of a comedy sketch, in all honesty. The Watford fans were obviously upset. So, I was actually unsure. To be honest, I came into this preview, I was unsure if I was going to bet this game. Because as you said, Carmine, it sounds a bit fishy, but I think I've talked myself into it now. It's got to be Everton for me in this one, as, Watford are an absolute dumpster fire right now.
Yeah, Kev, I have to agree with you. You look at it, and obviously a huge 3 points, which they've got a game in hand. So they're on 34 games, 35 points. This will put them at a win here, puts them at 38, and puts them 4 points up on Leeds outside of that relegation zone with 3 games to go. And obviously Leeds has the game against Chelsea, so that could get even better for Everton at this point. But I just saw the line, and I figured it would be at the very least 30 to 40 cents higher. But here we are. Pavlos, you're going to talk this game. Any rebuttal for Kev on this?
Not really, to be honest. I believe that we'll see goals here. I mean, couldn't agree more with what Kevin said. Watford are going down. Still, sorry, I got distracted by the chat just a little bit, as you can see. But yeah, I kind of phased out there. I didn't hear the final thoughts on Kevin, but I think this is a match where we will see goals.
All right, so
yes. Sorry about that.
All right, Pavlos see some goals in this one. Yeah. Nick, do you want to add anything to this, or should we move on to game number 4?
I will say I will not go contrarian against Kevin. If you don't like this game or don't like Everton, don't bet it. Don't bet Watford, though. That's probably just pissing away your money. But Everton seems like the play here.
Yeah, on 22 points, Watford and Norwich on 21. They are both going down at the end of this the Premier League season, which will end on the 22nd of May. It's been a fantastic and exciting season. There's still a couple relegation battles going on, obviously with Leeds, Burnley, Everton right there. But it'll be interesting to see how things shape up and shake out when we do next Tuesday's show, as the picture should become much more clearer. Guys, let's go into the final one. It's the North London Derby. Let's have a look at the prices on this one. Tottenham at home, plus 115. The draw is plus 240. And Arsenal are plus 240. Nick, I'm going to go to you first on this one. Listen, man, at the beginning of the season, I'm going to pat myself on the back. I said at the beginning of the season, I think you agreed with me, Arsenal are a good bet to finish top 4. They weren't going to be involved in any of the European Cup plays, not making it into either Champions, Europa, or the Europa Conference League. And I think it bodes well for this team now, because they were able to, Arteta was able to manage his team throughout the season, not having to worry about condensed schedules. And here they are on 66 points, 1 point back of Chelsea, 4 points back of Tottenham with 3 to go. But this is a big one, and it's a very big one, because this puts it right back in the balance again, too. If they go and drop all 3 points at Tottenham, they are 1 point up, and people start talking about the collar on Arteta and whether it's getting any tighter. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I have. It's been a wild swing of emotions, I guess, for me, because I have Arsenal top 4. And I don't know, 4 weeks, maybe a little bit longer, 4 weeks ago, 5 weeks ago, they looked like a shoe-in. Then all of a sudden they struggled a little bit, and Tottenham surged, and then all of a sudden Tottenham looked like they were holding their ticket to the Champions League for next year. And I'm like, great, here goes Arsenal doing their thing. And then now all of a sudden they've rallied, and they're in the prime position at this point, sitting 4 points up on the Spurs. But the way I see this, I mean, honestly, both teams are very evenly matched. So just looking at the side, I think it's difficult. If anything, I would just go Arsenal, only because they're getting a head start with plus a quarter goal. This thing could easily draw out. I mean, if you look at a lot of the numbers on the season, they're very, very close. You got Tottenham plus 0.47 expected goal differential, Arsenal plus 0.41. Tottenham average about 3 shots less per game than Arsenal, but they're very close in terms of shots on goal. Tottenham 4.9, Arsenal 5.2. The Spurs also allow 2 more shots per game than the Gunners, but they're dead even on allowing shots on goal at 3.9. So, I mean, there's just a lot of metrics that show these teams are very, very evenly matched. The one thing that has proven to be true, though, when these teams get together is that neither one of them hold each other off the score sheet very often. So I went back and I kept going back looking at, the trend line for both teams to score. And I all right, over 10 games, it's pretty good. And then all of a sudden there'd be 3 or 4 in a row where both teams scored. So I'm like, all right, I want to go back a little further. And then it was like 1 game, 4 games, 1 game, 4 games. Anyway, over the last 49 games, 36 of them, I've seen both teams score. Obviously, going back to the 49th game ago, you're talking 20 years ago, and doesn't have any bearing on this matchup, but it just proves that this matchup usually produces some fireworks. And with so much on the line, I think that there's a very high chance that both teams score. I see it kind of playing out as one of 2 options. It's either 0-0, right? Because both teams are really trying to hold that other person from scoring right away. And obviously both want to make that first goal. But once that first goal goes in, I think the other team's going to fight their ass off to get that equalizer. And I just don't trust either team's defensively to hold the other team off. So I like both teams to score. If you want to, protect against that or hedge against that a little bit, you could take the 0-0 scoreline as well. I think that's 11-1. I saw on Monday. So both teams to score is the way I'm going to play it. I might throw a few bucks just on that 0-0 scoreline, because if it doesn't end with both teams scoring, that's probably the way it's going to play out. But just a lot of line for both teams. I think both teams will do whatever they can here to get on the board and try to get a win. If Arsenal win this game, that's their spot. So this is everything for them, just as much as it is as Tottenham to try to catch up. So both teams to score, minus 140. Play that way.
All right. Nick Borrman, WagerTalk.com. Nick, I agree with you. I like the both teams to score in this one. Tottenham play extremely well at home. They score goals. And you look at Arsenal's last 4 on the road, and who would have thought they would drop games at Southampton and at Crystal Palace, and then go to Chelsea and West Ham and come away with 6 points on that one? Pavlos, I'm going to give you the final word on this game. This should be a good one on Thursday.
Yeah, London derbies are always very, very competitive. And, in these types of derbies, I like to see the history between the 2 sides and who wins a lot, because some teams are doing really bad in that. And Arsenal, they haven't been very good as visitors against Tottenham. Tottenham, they're 9-2-5. They've only lost twice at home against Arsenal since 2008. They're unbeaten as host against Arsenal in EPL matches since 2004 with 5 wins and 2 draws. And Arsenal might be okay with a draw here. They're going to keep Tottenham below them. They're probably going to seal the 4th spot with that. It's Tottenham who need the points. It's Tottenham who need the win here. Find themselves just 1 point behind Arsenal and keep on grinding the last couple of matches of the season. So I believe, and looking also at the stats, looking at how Arsenal, they've done a great job this season away from home, but most of the wins came in the second half of the season. They beat West Ham, they beat Chelsea, but Tottenham, I really trust this Tottenham side. I really like the money line here. Money line is at plus 115, I believe. But, when the money line is at plus 100, plus 115, plus 120, it's over, plus money. I like to do a trick, and that trick is taking Tottenham or tie and pair it up with over 1.5 goals. It's minus 130-ish, something like that, but it gives me the reassurance of getting some money back from a draw. I just don't see a goalless draw here. Maybe it's a 1-1 draw. So in situations like this, I like to pair, the favorite, which is now Tottenham, or tie, and over 1.5 goals at minus 130, 125, if you shop around.
All right, Pavlos, best of luck with those guys. We are going to get into our best bet segment of the show. Kev, I'm going to go to you first, man. You're taking us to Bundesliga Saturday game. Tell us what you got.
Just in terms of players up, Carmine, we got a Spanish Liga top player for tonight. We got a Wednesday Soccer 5-pack posted for tomorrow as well. So obviously riding red hot in soccer right now. But in terms of best bet, we like the over in this weekend's Hoffenheim, Borussia Mönchengladbach game over in Germany. You know, I expect this one to be an absolute track meet on Saturday. You know, Mönchengladbach scored 3 goals against Leipzig last week. They absolutely dominated Eintracht Frankfurt at the weekend as well in terms of overall chances created. You know, should have won that game by margin. And they're facing a team in Hoffenheim who are only behind the big boys, Leverkusen, Bayern and Dortmund since February in terms of overall XG created as well. And both of these teams are poor defensively. You know, they both rank bottom half in the league this season in opponent goals allowed at the other end. So I'm not going to make this complicated. It's a high total, obviously, but, you know, both teams are stuck in no man's land in mid-table. Both teams are offensively minded. Last game of the season, I think we see at least 4 goals in this game on Saturday. So over 3.75 goals for me in this one between Hoffenheim and Borussia Mönchengladbach at the weekend over in Germany. Best bet.
All right, there you go. Kevin Dolan, WagerTalk.com. Maybe it finishes with that scoreline that Pavlos was chasing down all year in Bundesliga, the 3-3 draw. We did see one, finally, a 3-3 draw.
But I didn't bet on it, so I didn't bet on that one.
Come on, Pavlos, man. Nick, I'm going to go to you, MLS. You love your MLS soccer. You're having a fantastic season in it. Tell us what you got going on Saturday.
Yeah, going to stick with the MLS here, not worry about those weak little European leagues. MLS, I'm looking at taking Montreal plus a quarter of a goal on the road at the newcomers, Charlotte, who do have 4 wins already on the season, which is impressive in its own right for the expansion side. However, 2 of those wins came against a couple of the worst teams in the league, in Cincy and Miami. The concern for me is their offense is not very good. They're averaging the second fewest expected goals per game at exactly 1.00, and thus they have a minus 0.47 expected goal differential per game. Montreal started the season in a very rough way. If you follow me on MLS, I always talk about how it is very difficult for MLS teams to juggle their Champions League and MLS because unlike the European teams, I made the joke, the weak European teams, obviously not the case. They have squad depth to be able to try to do that. But we even see them struggle at times, but MLS just simply can't do it. And it's very profitable to fade MLS teams when they're playing in the Champions League. Anyway, their MLS form really sucked to begin the year. However, since being eliminated from the Champions League, they're unbeaten in 7 games, 5 wins, 2 draws, including beating New York Red Bulls and drawing against Atlanta and Philly. Obviously, all 3 very good teams there. So simply have to grab the head start here on a hotter team against a very weak offense in Charlotte. So Montreal plus a quarter of a goal Saturday, MLS.
All right. Nick Borrman, good luck to you on that one. Pavlos, I'm going to you. You've got another one in Germany. Tell us what you got.
Yeah, I have the Bayer Leverkusen versus Freiburg match. I'm going to take Freiburg on the pick'em line, plus 103. Very simple reason. Bayer Leverkusen, they're already qualified for the Champions League next season. Nowhere to go. No, they can't go up. They can't go down. It's already settled. While Freiburg, they're now sitting at the 5th spot, which leads to the Europa League next season with 55 points. Union Berlin have 54. Cologne have 52. And Leipzig in the 4th spot have 57. So Freiburg, they need a win in order to, of course, they can't lose this Europa League ticket because they're plus 13 in the goal differential. While Cologne are plus 4. So even if they end up, in the same with the same amount of points, Freiburg still have the better goal difference. But here's the thing: Red Bull Leipzig just 2 points above them, and they're playing Arminia Bielefeld in the final match day. And Arminia Bielefeld, they need the win, maybe. Just to move up a spot and play in the playoffs, but still that's probably not going to happen. Still, Freiburg are going to keep on fighting, and I believe that they have the better chances to win here. After all, they beat them by 2-1 at home earlier in the season. They beat them by 2-1 in this venue last season. So, in Freiburg, they might be coming off a bad loss to Union Berlin, but prior to that, they were cruising. They were scoring 3 goals against Bochum, against Hamburg, against Gladbach, they scored 4 against Hoffenheim. So, yeah, I like Freiburg's chances here. Worst case scenario is draw and a push. So I like Freiburg on the pick'em line plus 103.
All right, Pavlos, good luck to you. You had a great weekend. Let's follow up with another good one. Guys, I'm going to go to the EPL. I'm going to go to a Sunday game in the EPL, Tottenham and Burnley. I'm kind of tying this one to the fact that I like Tottenham to win on Thursday in the North London Derby. And with that thought in mind, I think we're going to see some goals on Sunday. Listen, taking totals when Burnley is playing is never a good thing unless you're looking at the under, and they're involved in a relegation battle. But I have to believe that Tottenham find the back of the net, and once they do, this game should open up and soar over this total. Burnley were opened up on the weekend against Aston Villa. They allowed 3 at home in the first 55 minutes of that game, I believe, in losing 3-1. Spurs score goals at home. We're going to go over 3 in this game. It might be a slow start to the game, but I believe it'll be a big finish. So over the total of 3, Tottenham and Burnley on Sunday in the early matchup. Guys, couple final reminders, of course. Tuesday is our last show until the summer. We'll kick it back off again in August with the new leagues. So we will try and fit in as many games as we can on next Tuesday's show, because there'll be a bunch of big games to look at. Of course, also it is Tuesday, so it's $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk and SportsMemo, where you can get featured cappers plays for only $2 over at WagerTalk. It is my co-host on Puck Time, Andrew McInnes. He has a 5% play up in MLB, 29-11 with his 5% plays. The guy is on an absolute roll. And then over at SportsMemo, John Ryan with a 5% max best bet on an NBA game, WNBA, 5% max bet for R&R totals. And then Don Buster has a 5% play in the NHL. He'll be on today's Puck Time show at the top of the hour, so please tune in. For myself, Kevin Dolan, Nick Borrman, and Pavlos Laguretos, thanks for tuning in, guys. We'll see you next Tuesday, 10 a.m.
Stop. Don't buy that picks package or all access. Wait, what? Yep. Don't click add to cart until you check out our new deals page at both WagerTalk and SportsMemo, where you can find all the latest offers, promotions, and coupons available all in one place. These deals are updated daily and can be found by clicking deals in the nav at WagerTalk or SportsMemo, going to wt.buzz/deals, or scanning the QR code on your screen.